Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another video. Before I get into the topic, I just wanted to share that the coolest thing happened today. Ross Rosenberg found my channel and he left me a really nice comment on one of my videos. For those of you who don't know, Ross Rosenberg wrote The Human Magnet Syndrome, which is one of my favorite books. He's one of the leaders in the field of codependency. I just really look up to him, I really admire his work. And seeing that he liked my video and thought that I did a good job, it meant a lot. So anyway, I thought I would take a break from making red flag videos and focus more on my general playlist. Today I'll talk about misdiagnosis and just sort of clear up some confusion. They say that NPD affects 1 to 6% of the population, but I think it affects a lot more than that. The problem with NPD is that oftentimes it's not diagnosed or it's misdiagnosed, so the statistics are a little bit off. The two most common misdiagnoses are bipolar disorder and dissociative identity disorder, which used to be known as multiple personality disorder. So the most common sign and symptom of bipolar disorder is extreme mood swings, but the narcissists have those as well. They go back and forth between being super manic and super depressed, but with a narcissist, it's completely environmental. Something in their environment, either real or perceived, caused their mood to change. It's not caused by a chemical imbalance. Bipolar disorder is caused by a chemical imbalance. Unfortunately, not enough mental health professionals know about cluster B disorders and how they manifest themselves. To somebody who doesn't know a whole lot about antisocial behaviors and narcissism, they might look at a person who actually does have NPD and label them as being bipolar. And unfortunately, therapy and medication is not going to work. Robert had extremely unpredictable mood swings, and for a long time, I just assumed he was bipolar. That was the only logical way to explain what was going on, but it turns out he's a narcissist. In order to really figure out if someone is a narcissist, you have to consult the DSM. You have to go through the red flags. You have to match them up. You also need to look at the person's behavior and interactions in their interpersonal relationships with friends and partners and parents. And if they do have NPD, the puzzle pieces will just fit together. The problem with it is that people affected generally won't seek treatment for themselves. They think they're fine. They think nothing's wrong with them. They think the rest of the world is crazy. Most of the time, a spouse can convince their partner to come to therapy to work on the relationship because a codependent spouse, they think it's their fault. They think it's all their fault that things aren't going well, and if they bring their narcissistic partner to counseling, maybe things will change. The partner will play along most of the time, but generally they're not diagnosed as having NPD. NPD is also confused with dissociative identity disorder. A narcissist creates a false self. So it makes sense that this would appear that they might have an alternate personality. There were times when I thought Robert might have this disorder. He would commonly refer to himself by his stage name in the third person. He didn't like being called by his real name. He preferred his band name. So he'd refer to himself in the third person most of the time. And there were times when the conversations became so intense I couldn't tell if he was just not firmly grounded in reality, or if he was just very passionate about his music. And the answer is both. He lived in his own bubble that he created, where he was a famous rock star. The false self, however, is not a completely full-fledged person. It's just a way the narcissist can feel his own fantasies and his own grandiosity. Also, I've watched a ton of interviews with people who have been diagnosed with dissociative identity disorder in order to prepare for this video. And the people with this disorder, they were completely conscious of their other personalities. The narcissist does this all subconsciously. They do it to hide and to shield themselves from childhood trauma. Someone with dissociative identity disorder, they might be doing the same thing. They might have experienced some sort of a trauma, but they exist as a host, which is sort of their default true self, and multiple other selves. The narcissist doesn't do this. The real self is so repressed that it's almost non-existent. Another main difference is that a person with dissociative identity disorder, they're completely certain of their other personalities. Whereas the narcissist, they need constant validation from the outside that they exist. I can get way more in depth, but I just wanted to give you guys a very basic idea. I feel this is very easy to understand. Again, I'm not a professional, but I've been independently studying pretty much every psychology textbook I could find, and watching lectures and interviews and stuff like that. So I hope this video has been helpful. I hope it answered some questions. Leave me a comment, and thank you guys for watching, and I will see you soon.